All right, welcome back to Canyon 360 Labs, our YouTube live series of triathlon talks. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bishop with Canyon. And this week I'm super excited to have one of the top triathletes in the world, Germany's Laura Philipp, on for our episode. And on this episode, we're talking a little bit about Laura's incredible resilience. You know, she's well known for her work ethic and training, and just talk about sort of her resilience during this sort of difficult time with training. Laura, as a lot of you in Europe know, is a household name in triathlon, and we just want to welcome Laura on board and also have her tell a little bit about herself and just say hello to the new fans. So what would you say, how did you get into triathlon, Laura, and what do you have to say to some of the new fans, especially here in the States?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for watching and thanks for having me, Jeremiah. Well, I got into triathlon pretty late. So I was already, I think, at age 24, 25 when I got into the sport. And the only sportive background that I had was in rock climbing. And I did a little bit of jogging and riding my bike to the school. So doing that, I had a little bit of an endurance background, but other than that, I was pretty new into triathlon, and especially swimming was completely new to me. I always said the only time I had contact with water was while I was taking a shower. So there was a lot of work waiting for me. But I got inspired by some friends who did a relay at a local triathlon, and I went there to watch them doing it, and it looked like so much fun, the whole event, that at this point I decided I want to do it again on my own the next year. So I put some pressure on myself. I knew I could survive the run and the bike part because I had some little experience with that. I always took out our family dog on some short runs, and as I said, I rode my bike to school, and that was 60k per day. I have to mention that. So it was not just like a short ride; it was quite a distance.
Wow, that's a lot of riding.
I did that because of environmentally reasons, and also because taking public transport was. It took me longer than riding the bike because I had different exits and stuff like this. So and that was pretty much how I got into triathlon, or let's say into the idea of doing a triathlon.
It's a long road getting into a sport, and I think it's funny because the same way I got into the sport was friends, you know, said, "Hey, you should go and do this race. We're doing this race," and I'm like, "No." And then you get a little more into the idea, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you do one, you swear you'd never do it. Tell us about your first triathlon.
Yeah, so first I tried to learn how to swim, and I kind of enjoyed the challenge of, you know, trying something completely new, and especially something like swimming, where you really benefit if you have had some experience as a child or got into the technique. It's so much technical stuff involved into swimming and the feeling for the water. So I had kind of a hard time for around 6 months trying to swim freestyle for 25 meters without a break. But I kind of managed it to make it from like 0 meters to, let's say, 1,000 meters of freestyle swimming in a year, where I feel kind of comfortable. And the first triathlon was an Olympic distance.
All right.
But the swimming part was with the current in a river. So I thought, okay, I will survive the swim anyway, because there's some current. And even if I do dead man, I will get to the swim exit. And I survived the swim, and it was not so bad actually. And as soon as I hopped onto my bike, I feel comfortable. And from that point on, I really enjoyed the race. And I also, you know, in the swimming I was far behind, but then I overtook people because biking seemed to be like my strength, and also the run part. So with that, the fun part began, and I was constantly overtaking people, and I felt like, oh my God, yeah, this is fun. This is what I want to do more often from now on. And yeah, pretty much from the first experience on, I fell in love with the sport.
Awesome. Well, it's people have a different story when they get into the sport, and you had obviously a pretty strong trajectory in getting into the sport. And I know you had a fantastic Xterra race just recently. For a little background for folks of you that are just tuning in and don't really know Laura, she set the Ironman Barcelona course record on her debut, and also just this fall won X Terra in Czech Republic, and has 1470.3 wins. That's a lot of 70.3 wins. So you obviously have a broad ability in triathlon. Which one is your favorite? Like favorite
Well,
distance, favorite type?
yeah, so the middle distance is, I think, Olympic and middle distance are the most fun distances. So they're not too long. It's still a lot about speed, like real speed. And Ironman is more a mental challenge.
Yeah,
And but saying this, I've only done 2 Ironmans till now, so I'm not super experienced at the long course distance.
yeah,
But my first race that you mentioned was Ironman Barcelona, and that was really a magical and special race and moment for me, because before that I was so afraid of the distance. I thought I will never make it. And my coach Philipp, he's also someone who is always he never lets me do like super long confidence sessions, so he is always quality over
right,
quantity.
right.
And the longest ride I did before my first Ironman, I think, was around 140k, so I never did the 180k.
Wow.
And I was so afraid of hitting that 140, 150, 160k barriers for me.
Yeah,
But hitting them in the race and pushing my limits was such a great experience. And the same was for the run. I never ran further than 30k before. So I really thought, at the 30k mark, there's someone waiting for me with a hammer and my race will maybe be over. But experiencing that it's not over and I can still keep going with a smile in my face,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
like one of the best feelings ever. And I think from
That's
that day on, I kind of also fell in love with Ironman racing.
awesome. Yeah, well, that takes us to sort of the training and sort of the mental aspect. And you mentioned Philip Sipe, and your sort of training mantra is work hard, wake up, work hard,
Yeah, I have it
kick
here.
ass, and yeah, wake up, work hard, kick ass. And so tell us about this psychology, or this, this sort of, mental frame.
Well, I think the cool thing about triathlon is that, if your diligence is rewarded. So
Mm,
all the work you put in there, you will get a result. That's, I
yeah,
think, a very nice thing about triathlon, or maybe endurance
yeah,
sport.
yeah,
So, and I think I'm a good, if you look at my career, you see that I had no background in any of the 3 sports,
mm,
and I was still able to make progress. And I made my progress also quite fast over the year.
yeah.
But Philip and we always try to focus on little gains,
Mm,
make progress every year and not overdo stuff.
yeah,
So I always, like, it took me, I don't know how many years, but I waited a long time until I stepped up to Ironman racing, because I thought I want to be ready
yeah,
if I step up, and I need to develop speed first before I go over the longer distance, and that takes time. And I think in my little motivation slogan, I combine everything that is important for me. First
yeah,
you have to wake up. That's the first thing. You have to wake up, make an idea, make a plan, set a goal,
mm,
and then you have to work hard for it. And I
yeah,
think that is the base for everything. If you want to
yeah,
achieve a dream or anything in work life or in sports, you have to work for it.
yeah,
And then you can get your reward and
yeah,
kick ass. And but I have to say, kick ass does not only mean like kicking someone's butt.
yeah.
most of the time it means kicking my own butt, you
Yeah.
know? But kick ass is also, for me, it stands for being strong, being powerful,
Yeah.
train smart, be healthy. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I put into something that I call like kick ass feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that you're powerful,
Yeah.
you go out there, you're self-confident, and then you succeed.
I love it. Yeah, it's a mode of confidence, I think, and I think when you have such a great influence on other ladies out there that are looking to get into triathlon and they're not sure, and they say, "Hey, I'm going to do this because it's a powerful feeling when you set out a plan, you work hard, you make gains, you also make friendships and achievements and." That's such a wonderful thing in sport, and that's why I really love sharing sport. And I think that's something that you have in common, and specifically with triathlon. I love the slogan; it's super fun, and I think with motivation, you touched on a very good point in having these small goals, and not to look way down at this impossible goal, but to see these smaller goals come to realization each week. So tell us about your training at this time of year. Obviously, this is a very unique season. It's been a very challenging season. How has your training been with COVID and sort of some of these cancellations? Of course, there's some races coming back on.
Yeah, well, first, I think the hardest part was at the beginning of the year because I was in super good shape. I was preparing for Ironman South Africa, where I wanted to qualify for Kona. And then COVID hit us hard.
Yeah.
And to let this super good shape fade away, that was the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
But of course, I soon realized that this is not only like a little thing, but it has a big impact on everyone. And that I'm in the fortunate position to be a professional athlete. It was super hard that we had no chances to do our jobs anymore.
Yeah.
But then I was healthy and I was back home where I feel safe and have a good training setup also. So I was able to keep on training. But of course, because we didn't know if there will be any races this year, we kind of changed the way I trained.
Yeah.
So we didn't build up like peak fitness or something.
Yeah, more
but
like maintenance.
Yeah, we stepped back and did more base work and tried to look at little details that maybe are some weaknesses still where I can improve.
Yeah.
And we try to use the time wisely.
Yeah.
And hopefully I will get stronger out of this whole year.
Yeah.
I think it has also some positives, not only for our planet Earth environmentally, like the climate change. I think maybe we have reduced it a little bit with like traveling less and
a little break is
stuff
good.
like that.
Yeah, we can reset and step back and take a look at what our habits are in the long term.
Yeah, and what's important. Yeah.
So on that note, you have a sponsor that is solar and renewable energy. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is my new main sponsor from this year on. It's called HEP Global, and they are creating big solar energy parks all over the world. And yeah, solar energy, I think it's something we should really invest more into because the sun is shining, luckily, and to
there's
use
no plan
this powerful source.
Yeah.
Not on every part of the world, but mostly it is.
Well, I think it's interesting, having been in Germany many, many times for racing and traveling, and having a bit of interest in renewable energy. Germany is one of the top countries in the world for renewable energy, especially solar. Yet it's not the sunniest place, which proves that the technology is there. It can be done. And if it can be done in Scandinavia and in Germany, it can be done anywhere else.
Yeah, and especially on parts of the world where the sun is shining like every day, like in super hot parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, also I'm also a vegetarian, and I think like there's so many small things that you can do for your own, like in your own household.
Yeah.
And I think if everyone focuses on small things, we can make a big difference. And for me, it's like living a vegetarian lifestyle or a vegan. So try to reduce dairy and milk products. I think this is like one of the main impacts on climate change, all the big animal farms and stuff like this. So
great. Well, it's very interesting, and you can find out more about Laura and her sponsors and schedule on her website, Laura Philipp, 1L 2Ps.
Yes, and also on my YouTube channel, Laura Philipp 3. Okay. I also put some different content on that channel about bikes, about soon about the new Canyon bike.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about very, very soon. So it's going to be very exciting. So on the Global Triathlon Network on November 17th is going to be the global launch for Canyon's new SpeedMax. I know you guys want to peek at it. Sorry, you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. Can you tell us a little bit about your interaction with the engineers? Have you had any interaction with the engineers? I know there's a very strong process with Canyon on integrating athletes, top performance, industrial design, and really having a strong holistic approach to the product development. Have you been able to interact with the engineers at all?
Yes, definitely. So I'm an athlete. I think every athlete is different, but I'm someone who really is focused on details, marginal gains. Like I want to ride the fastest bike out there. This is also why I chose Canyon because already the old SpeedMax was super fast. And I rode the fastest bike split last year in Kona. So I think it shows it was already top. But of course, you never say no to if someone wants to give you an even faster bike. So
that's
I was
incredible.
Really curious to get my fingers onto the new bike to test it. We went into the wind tunnel to see to compare it to my old position, the old bike, and make some changes. And that was an exciting process. And I think the world can really look forward to the 17th.
It's going to be very exciting.
Month. It's a super beautiful bike. I love the framework. It's stiffer, it's faster. So there's not much more you can ask for.
Awesome. Well, can't wait to take a look at it. And we don't want to spoil the surprise, but it's going to be very, very cool to see. I have another question for you. So we're going to have a bunch of questions from the audience, so I can see them coming up on the YouTube chat. We've got good vibes, a lot of high fives, a lot of good stuff. So someone asked, Charles asks, are you going to Daytona?
Oh, yes. I'm still waiting for my visa exemption to enter the US, but as soon as I get that, I will book my flights. And right now, I definitely prepare for the race. So my training volume has gone up, especially speed, because, we race on a speedway in Daytona. So it's going to be a fast race. And lots of good competition.
Have you done that one before?
No, I haven't. I've seen pictures and it looks awesome.
Yeah, it's very exciting. The whole raceway, it's, such a...
And it's so cool that they even have like the lake in the middle. So it seems to be perfect for triathlon.
It's pretty interesting. Not all of them have that. But so let's see. Another good question here. Well, I had a question. If I noticed on your website that you were interested in downhill, and I saw that you, of course, won the Xterra on the Canyon Lux. Pretty cool. What other sport? I mean, is mountain biking ever been on your radar as far as a sport?
Well, actually, I really love mountain biking, and I used this year because there were no triathlons on the schedule, but I saw that there are some mountain bike races happening and the Xterra race. So I thought, okay, let's do this. Let's try out something new. And because I'm always loving a new challenge, because I think if you do different sports, they even lift you higher in your own sport, like in triathlon, especially the bike skills that you need to have on a mountain bike or that you learn with riding trails and difficult sections, I think you benefit so much from this when you hop onto your road or tree bike. And this is something I have done over the last years already. So I was not completely new into mountain biking, or I already did a few Xterra races over the last few years. And also where I live in Heidelberg in Germany, we have like superb trails, like super technical, difficult stuff. So I know if I'm able to ride those lines, that I can also like try out a mountain bike event.
Yeah.
So this year I did the Xterra. That was awesome experience. It was super good fun. And I also did a mountain bike race, like I did the German mountain bike marathon championship.
Oh yeah, excellent. That's a very good time frame for 70.3. Kind of crosses over pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. So that was 75 kilometers of mountain biking. That was a long and nearly 3,000 meters of climbing.
Yeah.
And quite some technical sections also. I thought mountain biking is more like riding a road bike, but in the forest. But it was quite difficult. So
what
that
course?
was a cool experience.
What was the course?
Where?
Yeah, where was the course?
That was in Hirschhausen. You probably have never heard of that. But it has like it had 30% trail in it. So I think for a marathon, I don't know if that is much or little.
That's on the longer side. Yeah, that's a lot of single track for a marathon. Typically, the marathon distance, they'll have shorter sections of single track. They'll have forest roads and some pavement and double tracks and things like that. But yeah, typically less single track than cross country.
Yeah, but the cool thing was because of the little racing available, all the strong German cross country riders, they also took part of this race. So it was cool to have like a little match with them, because one of my future dreams really is to get some experience in XC racing. So cross country mountain bike racing is something I really think is super cool. I love to watch the races, and I also think they have some super strong and like cool women out there. Like Pauline, who rides for Canyon, for example. I think that is super fun to watch, and maybe one day I will get a shot there.
Yeah. Well, it's anything's possible. I think you've proved that.
True.
And I think with practice makes perfect. So we have some other questions. Roberto Herrera says, any tips for someone who's trying to stay sober and he's looking for tips on discipline, and how do you approach discipline, whether it be with nutrition or alcohol or what have you?
Well, I think for me it's not so hard to live a healthy lifestyle, because I feel like this is what my body needs. Like I crave for healthy foods more than I crave for alcohol or sweets. But I have to say, I have like a hashtag I use, and that is faster with cake. So I do believe that, giving yourself some treats, and this can also mean have a little treat every day, will make you faster, because this is also maybe, some part of the kick-ass slogan that you need to be happy in order to go fast and do your training and maybe suffer and stuff. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with eating some sweets or just something that is a treat for you. Treat yourself, but then really enjoy it, and then maybe you have like a few days where you can focus on healthy lifestyle, but then there's your treat coming. And this is just something I use to motivate myself or give my soul some love.
I think that's common among elite athletes to take a lot of discipline, but they know that they have like pizza on Sunday coming or whatever treat it is that they're.
And I also think if you try to eat healthy but not like too healthy, there needs to be some balance,
Sustainable.
And I think everyone who is doing this will experience that he will feel better with like giving your body good nutrients, and then if you eat a pizza, it's no problem. I also love pizza,
Yeah.
but I won't have pizza every day because I know I won't feel good. If I have
Yeah.
pizza 4 days in a row, there will be a point where I won't feel so good anymore.
Yeah, I feel that too. You sort of think ahead, and you know that if you treat your body bad now, that performance tomorrow and the next day and next week, really goes.
Especially recovery, I think.
Yeah, I think in the recovery, I agree
So
entirely.
maybe like a good tip would be to prep food. So this is something I do. If I have a rest day, for example, I'll just do a little cooking session for an hour where I prepare maybe, let's say, 3 main dishes for the next 3 days with healthy and good stuff. And then I have that ready in the fridge. So if, let's say, someone comes back from work or from training, I'll just have it ready. So I avoid, snacking bad stuff that is fast available. So I think doing this and get a routine in food prepping can really help to have more discipline with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Having a plan. Andrew was also going to ask, as far as nutrition, without the races on the schedule, did you change your nutrition approach this year or same?
Well, I would say my basic nutrition was the same. Of course, with having less intense sessions, I had less, sugar maybe for my training rides and stuff because training was shorter. But I would say like all my main dishes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they were about the same. I don't change that much during the season. Of course, if my training ramps up, I will have more, but it's not very different.
Excellent. Well, there's some great questions. So we're getting some good comments. People thanking you for your positive vibes. The positive energy is contagious. It's something that you share, and of course, as athletes, we also have lows. Sometimes we choose not to, encourage those, but we try to share with people, and we try to really encourage others to give their best, to work hard, and this pays off. It pays off even if the race is canceled. You have the ability to lift your energy levels, to feel healthy.
Yeah, and the dreams are not canceled. I think
Yeah,
that is so important.
exactly.
You can still dream big.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a super fun message to send to people, and that's part of why I thought it was exciting to have you on board today. And did you have any other sort of plans coming together for next season as far as goals? I know you spoke about the mountain bike races or Xterra. What are your plans looking like for next season, and what are you excited about?
Well, so I really hope that there will be some sort of a normal racing schedule next year. So if that would happen, then I would try to qualify for the Ironman Hawaii. As a pro, you need to qualify, which mostly means you need to win an Ironman somewhere around the world. And I would like to tick that off early in the year and then prepare for Kona, which will be the main event that's always happening in the first weeks of October. So last year I got 4th in Kona in my first attempt on the Ironman Hawaii, and I really, really want to improve that place.
Yeah.
So all my motivation and focus goes into preparing that performance.
And what was your favorite course as far as outside of Ironman? Obviously, Ironman is just carries so much weight as it's like this big championship. But for the fun races, which courses do you think are the most fun or you enjoy the most?
So if someone is interested in racing in Europe, I would really recommend to do the 70.3 Mallorca. On Mallorca, that's a super fun course. It has some climbs on the bike and a super lovely descent, and also flat sections and a run along the sea. It's a great event, and I have good memories on that one. And then also races like St. Pölten in Austria, for example, or Zell am See, both super beautiful 70.3 races. And if you want to go long, then I can really recommend Challenge Roth, of course, or the Ironman Frankfurt, both super, super great events. Lots of spectators usually, we will see how this will be in the future. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank
and
you.
then also Xterra racing. Xterra racing is something I can really recommend. If you have a mountain bike and if you're ready for a little challenge, because it's also trail running, right? So it's also the run part is a little different.
Yeah. How would you say that challenge is different? The running section, obviously the mountain bike section. How would you say Xterra differs from 70.3? Obviously very different.
So the swim is the same. The swim is the only thing without obstacles. And Xterra is usually an Olympic distance from the kilometers, but it takes longer. To ride 40K on a mountain bike with lots of climbing, it will take you longer.
Yeah.
You need to maybe practice some skills on the mountain bike, especially X Terra Czech. What I did this year was quite difficult on the bike part. So I definitely regretted that I didn't took my mountain bike out more often before. But and then trail running, you need to practice this as well. You need to increase cadence for trail running, and there are some little differences between road and trail running. But what I really love about it, that the fun factor is definitely higher, because it has this little adventurous factor. You can't plan anything. So you can have a flat tire and maybe you're in the middle of the forest somewhere, or I did Xterra Maui. So that is a race where you have a lot of mud. So Maui mud is something really, really ugly.
Like peanut butter.
If this sticks to your chain and everything, that can really give you a hard time. So this is something you will never experience on a 70.3, for example.
Interesting. Yeah.
Or I lost my shoe. I stepped into like some mud thing, and then my shoe was just stuck into there. So those are the little fun things that can happen at Xterra.
Yeah.
But time flies by so much faster because you're so focused. Even on the mountain bike and on the run, there's no part of the race where you can let your thoughts drift away. You need to stay in the moment. And I think this feeling of being so focused, this is something that is like really cool about sport. If you experience that, I think this is something very powerful.
Yeah.
And for example, if you race an Ironman, it's super hard to stay concentrated and in this zone for let's say 8-9 hours.
Yeah, it's sort of like this mental challenge.
Yeah.
But when you do a cross country race, you're just your brain is
in the zone,
focused. Yeah. You're not thinking about anything else. Bills, the electric bill, none of that stuff comes in your.
No, definitely, it's laser focus. And to experience this, you have rare times experience that in the daily life, I think.
Yeah.
So this is something that can really also, put you into this flow experience and get you in the zone. And
meditative,
pretty addictive.
Very meditative. Yeah, I like that. Like that analogy. Well, speaking of time flying by, our time is just about wrapping up here, but it's been really an honor to have you on board. And for those of you in Canyon, North America land, our Canadian fans and US fans, I hope you really enjoyed meeting Laura, and make sure to follow her on her social media platforms and stay tuned on her exciting race coming up, the Challenge Daytona. And of course, best of luck in qualifying for Ironman, and we're wishing you a strong and healthy preparation this off season as well. So for Canyon 360 Labs, I'm Jeremiah Bishop. This is Laura Philipp. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.